Okay, here we go. So today we have some interesting things to discuss. Dr. Nathaniel Jensen put out a video today, this morning, and it is very well made, well produced, whatever, and it's very interesting. So I figured that I would just add my couple, 2 or 3 cents to the story as well. But his video is very well done, very interesting, and it's worth a look. Worth going to check it out. So, speaking of Native American, let's look at some Native American genetic migrations. So we'll just go ahead and add this to the stage here, and we'll put me in the corner there. And we will go to HRAS. Start out with a mitochondrial A in America. So we'll just go to mitochondrial A. And so what do we have here? These are the little daughters of Shem, actually, because it's mitochondrial A, and A and B are Semitic, so they're daughters of Shem. Now, this one daughter jumped over here to Central America right there. These are actual samples, these being actual samples with numbers assigned to each one. Each one has assigned a number. And so we can see already, now this starts out 20,000 years ago here, according to their calculations. But of course, it's more like 5,000 or less years ago. Actually, 4,000 something years ago. So notice how the first thing, you have a lineage from Asia, where you got a sample here, right in Mesopotamia, and other samples over here, but they could put these nodes over closer to the west, because everybody was here in Mesopotamia, this whole area. You have the Elamites in Iran or Persia, and you have the Medes in Persia, Medes and the Persians, which we'll get to the Medes pretty soon too, because what accompanied the A haplogroup to America was the Q haplogroup, which is that of the Medes. So right away we can see it's right there in Central America, and we got two nodes here starting to spread out from Central America. Now they're updating this HRAS thing pretty consistently now, I guess, or it's better than it was before, because I think that one of these mitochondrial lineages was like the slider went back to like 100,000 years old or something, and you had to slide it forward until it got to like 25,000 years old, and then it started moving, which was very hard to control, very hard to work, but they're working on it, making it better all the time. So you're going to see this consistent pattern here of a migration of the haplogroups in Central America, where they spread north and south from Central America. So this is the first one, the mitochondrial A, which accompanied the Medes in their travels. And there's another one, Another daughter appears in South America. Okay. And we're going forward in time, and we got them spreading out north and south from Central America, as you can see. Right? So this is a pattern that's repeated 3 more times in 3 more different haplogroups. So it just spreads north and south from Central America, as you can see. Of course, this is the mitochondrial lineage. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is the Q haplogroup. The Q haplogroup is the haplogroup of the Medes, if it will ever show up. Okay, so notice this is the Y chromosome non-recombinant DNA. The other one was a mitochondrial non-recombinant DNA. This one is the Y chromosome non-recombinant DNA, and you can already see it's doing the same thing. Of course, they have this. 15,000. Let me back it up a little bit more, if it will. If it will do that. Okay. Anyway, there we go. But notice this one already has one of the sons over here up there. Okay, now it's gone back. The Q haplogroup, of course, starts in the area of the Medes, which is right underneath the Caspian Sea right here. That's where they began, after Mesopotamia, of course. So then we go forward. As we go forward in time, it starts spreading out from Asia, of course, and bang, there it is, right in Central America, as you can see. So this trend here is going to be repeated many, many times, or 4 times, as a matter of fact. So there's 4 DNA lineages that do the exact same thing. Now, this next one is not going to do that because it's a C haplogroup, and they haven't done enough testing to find the C haplogroup migration, because it's the one that's more than likely responsible for the Olmecs, the Wayus, the Quechuas, and the Waoranis. They have the C haplogroup from the great-grandson of Noah. His name is Nimrod. He was the first king of the world. So he had many, many sons and daughters, as you can see here, which reached South America. So this is the only sample on HRAS, but actually I think they've updated this somewhat, where they got more samples up in North America now. Anyways, of course, the Olmecs are in Central America, and the Waorani and the Wayus and the Quechuas, they're all in South America, the northern part of South America. And their DNA is not showing up very good. There's one sample here, another sample here, another one here, here, and here. Okay. Of course, they have them migrating from Asia or through the Bering Strait, but that's probably not the case, because I seriously doubt that the C haplogroup took a different route than the mitochondrial lineages that go to Central America, which are C and D, are the Eurasian daughters of Japheth that went to Central America, spread north and south from Central America. So this is an exception to the pattern, or maybe it's still part of the pattern. Let's go back. We can go back in time a little bit. It'll take us back in time. There. Okay, so that's the first one. And now if we clicked on this one here, well, I guess, I don't know. So there's C that went into Europe. Obviously, this is very interesting because, of course, there's quite a few samples of the Akkadians in Europe because of the Assyrians, because the Akkadians were a ruling class, descendants of Nimrod of Assyria in Europe. So they did go to Europe, and there's quite a few samples up in Europe, which is very interesting. And the lineage goes to Australia. And this node here, this blue node, is a separate lineage which goes to America. But let me go forward in time now, see what happens. See if it works. Yeah, it's hard to say. And there's some from the brown node is going to America as well. It's hard to say which one actually crossed the Bering Strait because there's really not any samples. You can see there's not any samples up here in the Bering Strait. I mean, across to Alaska. Yeah. I mean, you have it. They have them going across here, supposedly, but there's no samples up here. Whether or not they were able to find the samples or not. But I'm pretty sure that most of them took the route of the Atlantic Ocean through here. So that we have a bunch over there. Yeah. Well, it's hard to say at this point because there's not enough information, but maybe it'll get some more information. Now we'll go to the first Eurasian daughter of Japheth. The first Eurasian daughter of Japheth is the C haplogroup, the C mitochondrial maternal lineage, which is the daughters of Japheth. And I'm going all the way back in time as far as I can. See, this is what I'm saying is that it's not likely that the C haplogroup took a different route than what you see here with the C mitochondrial lineage, the C1G. This is of course not the CY chromosome. This is the C Eurasian mitochondrial lineage. The CY chromosome is a Hamitic Y chromosome paternal lineage. The C mitochondrial lineage is a Eurasian daughter of Japheth. So we'll go forward in time and see how that looks there. If it'll cooperate. Okay. Okay, we're going forward in time, making progress. And there you can see it's pretty much clear. And of course, the mitochondrial lineage jumps around a lot more than the Y chromosome paternal lineage because there's not as much genetic information in the mitochondrial DNA, so there's not as many chances to make mutation or have a mutation. So it tends to jump around a lot more. But even so, you can see it just goes right to Central America and spreads out from Central America. The C1 maternal lineage in Native American tribes. And you can see that there's nothing crossing Beringia. There's nothing crossing the Bering Strait. This is going back, according to them, 4,200 years ago. But it's amazing that you have all this activity and nothing crossed Beringia. It's even going back to Europe from South America. But, these might be post-Columbian or not pre-Columbian, but still you have all this activity and nothing crossing Beringia until, let me see if it'll cross. Go all the way forward in time. And we have one that crossed. So there is one lineage that crossed, Beringia. So that's the C maternal lineage. And now we can go to the, there we go. We can go to the D Eurasian maternal lineage, daughters of Japheth. So this is the D maternal lineage, which basically takes the same migration route and has the same migration pattern. So there's you'd call it a hub. I guess you'd call it a hub in Central America. So this hub in Central America spreads out like spokes of a wheel, kind of like the same as you have a hub in Mesopotamia where all the haplogroups spread out from Mesopotamia like spokes of a wheel to Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, all over. And, there's no diversity of a Y haplogroup in Africa. There's no diversity of a Y haplogroup in Europe. There's no diversity of a Y haplogroup in Asia or Australia. All of them spread out from the hub, which is Mesopotamia. But for some reason, they like to put it as far east as they possibly can. But it is Eurasian lineage. It's a Eurasian mitochondrial lineage. So this is as far back in time as it'll go. It's 20,000 years according to their timeline. Be nice if they could make it maybe 25,000 or 30,000 years, whatever, or according to their timeline, but which is wrong anyways, but just to get a better idea of the migration. But making changes. See, you already have one in America right there. So when we go forward in time, see what happens here. Probably not going to cooperate, but anyways. It's going to have the same hub in Central America, spreading north and south from Central America, as you can see. Right there. The exact same pattern of migration, spreading out from Central America, north and south, which was news to me. Everybody says they crossed Beringia, but you notice the sea took forever before it crossed Beringia. And who's to say that these don't cross either? Or maybe some of them do. Obviously, some of them did, because of the Inuits. The Inuits were chasing seals and whales and seals and stuff. And there was other migrations beside the Inuits. There's other people groups. But, of course, they stayed up in the Arctic primarily. And whereas the major population spreads out from North and South America, it spreads out from there. So that's just an idea, just to see if I can add to the conversation here. See if the StreamYard thing will work now. If I go back to the StreamYard page. And there we are. Okay. So it's about 20 minutes or so. So yeah, Dr. Nathaniel Jensen did make a very good video on Native Americans. It's very well done, and it's very interesting too. So I just wanted to add to it a little bit more information. And of course, it's all genetic information. You can't argue with genetic information. That's one of the things that are, if there's anything absolute that's physical, genetic DNA haplogroups are about as absolute as you can get, especially in regard to the paternal haplogroups, paternal lineage and the maternal lineage. Both of them are about as absolute as you can get in science, because they don't cross over, they don't converge or get mixed up. It's one single lineage all the way back to the origin. Oh, I'm talking to a share screen here, whatever. Anyway, that's about it. So the saying would be for today, as every day, is pray without ceasing and draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. So that's about it for today. God bless everybody, and take care.